the theater of magic.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Clark's Place. Today, we're going to build a custom topper for a pinball machine. Got two of these, and Cliff at Leaderboard here in Jacksonville, Florida. Leaderboard 1 and 2. He has got two Jaws, and I think he got these from Universal. There's a Universal sticker. Jaws Amity ISO wood sign, 35 bucks. So I'm going to put this on some sort of stanchion that holds this up. So my idea is to take these signs, put them, maybe panel bond this, automotive panel bond, and just that should stick like crazy. And flathead screws from the bottom come up through, and then put a bolt on this to hold this sign like back here. And then I grabbed a stick laying in the yard. I might grab a wider one, and then that will look like it's got some old wooden style post. Might clean this up, and it's pretty aged, pretty crappy looking, so I think that will make a nice signpost. But I don't want this to be seen, so I need at least, looks like this is about an inch. So I'll probably get an inch one, and then cut these off the right length, however tall it is, split them in half, and then glue that to the face of this on the underside of this sign to where it looks like it's really holding that up. And mount that center, and you can see I've got a line scribed here. My plan is to do some cuts, bunch of V cuts, and then break it off to where it looks like a shark bit the top of this wood. And then I may, in front of that sign, cut this off maybe an inch or two tall. That way it hides all of the lighting. And I'll kind of go through my idea of lighting. I will probably put 3 GI lights that I will tie the wiring harness down into the GI lights. And then I'll do like 2 all behind this wall that's only an inch tall or so. And maybe put some red ones so it'll always be lit up like a white light on this sign, that it looks like a nice sign. And then maybe tie it into the flasher for the shark, that when you hit that shark and that flasher goes off, it lights the red and throws red up there. And when it, with the other GI lights being tied into just a standard GI light, it should, in certain modes, when it goes dark or whatever, all the lights will be cut off. So the topper will kind of be interactive in a way, and I think it'll turn out well. Like I said, he's got 2 games, so I'm going to do 2 of these, and I've already cut this out. If you're going to do a topper, it's 26 inches is what one of the guys told me today, from where the back box side wood art is. That top metal piece is 26 inches wide. So this is 26 inches, and then I'm gonna chop this all up, probably do a lot of it in time lapse, and we'll see how well this thing turns out. Thank you for watching. If it's your first night, you have to subscribe. All right, here we go. Some fast motion here, just taking in that little angle that I cut, or that I drew in there. Just taking the saw back and forth and just cutting some V's, and total freehand there, just trying to make it look like a shark bit into it. And then I think just took a pair of pliers there, or vice grips, and just kind of twisted back and forth, some up, some down, and tried to give it as much depth as possible. I'm pretty tall, so when I'm looking, the topper's pretty much eye level, but I could see like some variations up and down, like just like pieces and frayed pieces of wood just kind of hanging down. So I think it'll look really good. Okay, shark teeth complete, and this is what you'll see from the bottom side. I tried to put some of the pieces flake down, that way as you're looking at it from above, you can see like distressed, broken pieces of wood. My second one was better. I got more goodness, for goodness sake. All right, just cutting down a couple little strips of, like, making some 1x. I think it's just like a 1" by 1" is all that ended up being. And then just sorting through my bins of just some lighting stuff and try to find a couple good flashers and a bunch of good GI bases. Okay, 2 flashers, 3 red LEDs, 3 regular LEDs, and 1 black light attachment. It kind of has an attachment and then that connects to it. And then I got the same setup for the other. These are white, and I'm not sure what these are, but I got my little voltage supplier, and I'm going to test all of them, make sure all the bases work, and the LEDs. And then I will lay it out on the whole shark bitten thing. And I think all those lights, I'm kind of drying out these wood sticks from the yard. But what I'm thinking is all of those lights will attach to the back side of this, and you won't see them when you're playing the game. You won't even see any lights at all. You'll just see the results up on this sign here on those posts like such. That's the plan. All right, here basically I'm just taking and cleaning up all of the bases and flasher bases and all that. All of them had been cut out of games, so they all kind of had like a couple liters of, like, some of them had doubled up on wires because they were daisy chained into different lights. And basically just cleaning all of them up, taking all that off, and then you might see me, I've cut a ton of this because I just time-lapsed all of it, but you might see me putting some more solder on when I take all those off. If it didn't leave like a nice little booger of solder on there, then I'd kind of throw some more solder back in. That way when the solder tinned wire goes on it, it can easily be soldered, and you don't have to do a whole lot of work and get a bunch of solder, and it helps to have 6 hands when you're doing soldering like this as well. So we're about to test them. Okay, so now what I do, I've got all the bits of wire from cutting these out of other games. I got a million of these things. Now I test just to make sure they're going to work, and it works positive to negative on either side. Those 2 work, and I'm not sure about this one. I think it's the same way, but there's a diode on most of these. I think the positive goes on the diode side, but I'm not sure which side is the positive out of this little buddy right there. That's my little voltage supplier. So we'll see. If this one blows up, we'll hope it didn't. This looks like the side I desoldered. Yeah, so that's your red. Let's see if it works the other way too. Pretty sure it does. Yep. So that's good. So I just go through all of these first just to make sure that they're going to work. And looks like they all are. Yep. And try not to put your 12 volts onto your metal table. I don't have any kind of mat yet, but I will get eventually. So those are going to be cool. Let's see, that one is not the this one. This one is the power. Yep, good. Oh, you got a little spark. Still good. I touched these together by accident and heard a little feedback. That's the ground. Okay, and then this, I believe, is black light, so we will hook this in. I think this came from Pinball Life, the Matrix kit, or Comet Pinball, I'm not sure, but I believe that's, I believe it's going to be a black light. And there's no diode on this one, but I believe it's just one and the other. Should be fine. Yeah, I believe that's black light. So let's take a look, see here. Let's see if this is gonna do anything at all. Hopefully it shines pretty good. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna do anything, so I'm not gonna even put this in because that doesn't really make anything glow. This isn't high-vis or ultraviolet paint on that sign. So I'm gonna eliminate this and not use those until there's a time that it gets to be good. So let's try something. When all of these reds flash, let's try that. That's gonna be cool. Boom, 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 boom. That looks pretty good. And then these white lights are gonna be on all the time. So that's going to be lit, and then hopefully when the flashers flash with the red, that will change the look. And then, of course, the flashers are going to flash like that. So, I'm happy. All of my lights work. I'm not going to use the black light. That was a kind of test. And now I'll show you how to daisy chain them all together and make the connector and all that good stuff. All right, now I'm just kind of laying out there on that wood piece and getting an idea of the spacing that I would like to have between the lights, and then I'm cutting off the different lengths of wire there to kind of keep them separated. And yeah, I'm tinning each of the wires there, so I've taken the length that I want for the distance between the lights, and I've taken that into consideration. So when I do get it all, you can see I'm actually soldering it onto the base of that right there. But I'll tin all the wires, and like I said a moment earlier, on each of the sockets, I'll put some solder, and then I'll take those tinned wires, and they end up going really easily with that little clamp attachment thing. So I always use that. And then that little bin to the left there that has all those other little clamps, I will utilize those as well. Sometimes a clamp on a clamp, like when you've got both the wires on there, it will hold and you can heat it up, and then all the solder melts over both of the wires. They all go down. You can blow on it for a second, it cools it all off, and then that clamp, it will come off of there. Like, for some reason the solder doesn't stick to that. Maybe because it doesn't get super duper hot and the solder melts lower melting point before that little clamp. So that's kind of how I do it. I'll save you a bunch of time here, and I only do, I think, this flasher set for this, and maybe a couple more little time lapse that show a little bit more, but a lot of soldering. Okay, got the flashers. wired in. I should probably not have these on metal. And they are both doing what they're supposed to. Well, that one's lit, but that one is only got one LED, so I don't know what's wrong with that one. Oh, it's something with the connection. So I'll have to play with that. Maybe clean these out because they're 50 years old. So we'll get it shining better. Okay, so I forgot I turned down the voltage. So now I'll hit both these. Bing, 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 bing. Perfect. I forgot I put it down to like 6 volts. Okay, one more little time lapse here showing like kind of how I utilize that little clamp. You can see I'm soldering those together. Then I put my little clamp right there, and that holds the 2 wires together. Throw a little more solder, blow on it, done. Easy. Okay, gonna switch on the switch. Got it on about 6 volts AC. We will see if we can get something to light up here. Hey, yay. Okay, there's all 3 of them here. They're all 3 lit up. And you kind of got to solder the wires in. Yeah, all three are lit. So you kind of got to solder the wires in the right position, as I'll show you here, because these 2 are the runners that are going to go to the harness, and then I've angled this one this way. This middle one is kind of pointed up, and you can see straight over here that one's kind of angled in and up. So this wire's a little probably too thick for what it needs to be, but I always go way overkill on the wire just so nothing heats up and burns up and who knows what. So now this harness is done, and the flasher harness is done. These are going to be like such. That goes that way. That goes that way. And this is going to be kind of distressed wood on the outside. So those will go there, and then these 2 will run backwards underneath the sign and go into a harness, and then I'll have a quick disconnect. I'll kind of show you what I'm using here. This is my idea, is to put those into these connectors and then make a connector, and then after that, then I will make like one of these Z connectors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires, so that'll be the red flashers, I guess the GI light, and then the 2 big flashers will be on that. And I'll wire into a plug. This will plug into that, and then the other side will come out and it'll plug into that too. So we'll be able to quick disconnect if you need to move the game and disconnect the topper or take it off or do something. That's how you do it. So I have one more set with just I've got the 3 GI lights here, and then I've got the two flashers, and I still need to wire in, so I'm going to do both of these red ones just as pointing up as like the red flasher. I think when it hits the shark, I can maybe snake down, and I use these alligator clips. You can see I got a gazillion of them. They're on Amazon for $2 for 2,000. But I will crimp the wire into that and then heat shrink over it, and then under the playfield, however long a harness you need to make, I'll probably use this same wire and make a long lead that you can snake down in the game and then go and clip on whatever wires you want. Alright, so let's turn on some voltages. Let's see what we got here. Yay! Alright. We got 2 red GI lights. And these Comet 4 SMDs, or whatever they're called, they're super bright, and when you see it on this, let's turn this away. You can see it's pretty red. So these will just flash occasionally, I think, when the shark gets hit. So yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. Okay, so first band is the whites with the 3, and those come over, white and a red, whoop, they're in the middle, the red and the white right there. The flashers are the green and the white, and they come off there and go into there. And then the last 2 come off, and they are the red flashers. So what I will do, since this harness is built, all of these work good, what I will do is take and split these guys, and it'll be something like this, that goes into this. I might have it backwards, hold on. Yeah, so it slides on there, and I'll have 2 sliders that these connect, and I'll put a little mark, you know which one it is, and then I'll do another one of these harnesses that come off and goes long to where it goes all the way, snakes around in the game, and then it has these alligator clips, and then it'll clip onto an existing light, an existing flasher, an existing whatever, and then we'll be set. All these will be incorporated, and it'll be an interactive type topper. So we'll continue from there. Okay, I did a little more. Got some Spanish moss from the yard, glued it on with some hot glue. Kind of hangs down a little bit, looks rustic. And then I screwed all my harness in. So you can see it's white, white, white. 2 reds in the center. Whoop, red, red. And then 2 big flashers that are 12 volts. The rest of these are just the 5 volt. And got my harness ready there. And then the other half of the harness is here. I'm not sure how much more I'll go into this or not, but I just put a connector that connects onto there, and then on the other end of this you have all your little alligator clips to clip on whatever you need. So I'll come back, show a picture when it's all said and done. But yeah, I think it's gonna look cool. Oh, I JB welded these posts onto these metal clamps that I'll drill a couple holes and put a flathead washer or flathead bolt sticking up, and then tighten that down onto this. So the sign will sit up about yay high. You can see it looks like it's got old rustic posts as the base for it. Those are just trees out of the yard. Yeah, gonna be cool. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. As you're looking at it from the underside, you can kind of see some teeth sticking out. And how I mounted the sign, you see just a flathead screw with a washer, and then a nylon nut screw on top with the washer on that. And then that I JB welded and clamped it together overnight, and appears to be sticking pretty good. So I'll get you a video when it's on the game and I get it hooked up to all the things it's supposed to be hooked up to. Alright, that's what she looks like. I've got the harness comes through, down, then I've got it tied into these flashers here for the red flashers. It's only 5 volts. Then I've got the main flasher tied into this flasher, with just 5 volts as well. And then the other goes up to a GI light that's kind of tucked up underneath. It's this GI light right here. And that's how she goes. Yeah, apologize it's so noisy, but that's what we got.
Oh, how I earn a living.
Come on, Chief, this isn't no Boy Scout picnic. So you got your rubbers?
So that's pretty much it. The red lights come on with the Amity island sign back there. The flashers are wired into that, which I've got 12 volt flashers in it, and those don't work with the 5 volts. So happy with how it turned out. Looks pretty good. Gonna work out nice on both games.
Thank you.